Welcome to episode 1 of the Catching Made Simple podcast. This podcast is for you if you are a catcher, if you are a parent of a catcher, or if you are a coach of a catcher. And really, the idea for this podcast is I just want to teach everything I've learned. A little bit about my story. My name is Anj Bourgeois, and I am the founder of Catching Made Simple. And the reason that I created Catching Made Simple is because I converted to a catcher my junior year of college. So I was an infielder my entire life and went to Biola University, and that's where I played with Coach Rack. If you know him, we were in each other's weddings and are good friends to this day. So I came in as an infielder there. My freshman year, I played some first base and DH just to get my bat in the lineup. I played second base my sophomore year, and then that summer, I was playing summer ball in Ohio, and it was super hot and muggy, and one day my coach calls me as I'm at the gym. I just finished working out. I'm stretching out on the turf. And he calls me and I'm like, "Hey coach, what's going on?" He goes, "Hey Ange, I got a serious question for you. Do you have just a minute?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." He asked me, "Hey, what do you think about making the transition to a catcher?" I ended up making the transition, obviously, and it was both good for me and for the team. And we can talk more about why the skill set of an infielder transfers really well to a catcher. And I went for it and it was awesome. I learned a ton. I had success early. I had a ton of failure. And throughout it all, I have learned how to teach catching in a way that people really like, because I am able to break it down in a way that is simple to understand. I think one of the main benefits of being an outsider to catching, right, is I didn't necessarily grow up knowing how to move like that. And so a lot of catching coaches, they grew up catching, they've always caught, and so there's a lot of things that they do intuitively that they don't necessarily know how to explain. And so I actually think the disadvantage of me being an outsider coming from an infielder and not knowing how to move correctly really has helped me be able to teach other people how to learn, because I had to start at the very beginning just like everyone else that's starting, but I only caught for 18 months. And you guys, if you're out there and you're 12 or 14, you have so much time, and I'm very jealous of the time that you have, and hopefully I can help you shortcut your path to success as a catcher. Okay, so that's a little bit about my story, a little bit about me personally. Right now, my wife and I, we just had our first baby, which is super exciting. And then we have a cute little dog named Benny. You might see him in some of the videos. So that's a little bit about myself, right? The purpose of this podcast is really to help you guys understand catching, understand skill development, understand more in depth than a lot of my short form content. What is the purpose of catching? How do we want to think about it? How can you get better, both as a catcher, both as the parent of a catcher, and as the coach of a catcher? And how can we accelerate the rate at which we learn and develop skills so that we can perform more on the field, so that we can have confidence in other areas of our life, so that we can actually be better people than catchers? So that's what this is about. Selfishly, I'm very excited to do this podcast with you. So thank you for tuning along, because I want to write a book one day called Catching Made Simple. And I am definitely a verbal processor. And so this is going to be a great space where we can dive deep into the contents that will eventually make that book. And I'm really excited to share the stories and stuff that I've learned along my way of learning how to be a catcher. And I hope that this significantly speeds up your development. So with that being said, thanks for coming to episode 1, the Catching Made Simple podcast. Keep your eyes out for videos coming out in the future. We're going to dive deep into a lot of the stuff that I work with one-on-one and in group settings with the clients that I coach. If you want more info on that, definitely go to the website, catchingmadesimple.com, and there will be info there. So with that being said, thanks again for coming in, and keep your eyes out for episode 2. If you have any questions or comments or topics that you want me to cover in future episodes, definitely send me a message on Instagram or drop them in the comments below this post. And we're super excited to get going. We'll see you soon.